The official list of best buzzwords in Japan from 2025 was a disappointment, and last year even the Nico Nicopedia Pixiv list that came up was also pretty disappointing, with most of the entries just being proper nouns, the names of anime, manga, games, etc., or characters in them. There was very few actual words. What's that? Proper nouns are words? Well, they shouldn't be. But there was one group of language innovators out there who actually sat down last year and made a proper list of words of the year, and that is Gyaru. Yes, the Gyaru magazine Egg took a brief break from making content where they interview Gyaru about various things or have them dance, you know, stuff that people are actually interested in, and made content that I and I alone are interested in, which is a list of 10 of their favorite words from last year. Now, very few of these terms were actually invented last year, but they are words in the use them in a sentence instead of when you're talking about a product way. So let's go through them and let's explain what Gyaru liked to say last year. At number 10, we start with yurusarehen. And this is more of a borrowing than anything, as literally this is just a dialectical form of cannot forgive you. Basically, the verb yurusu, or to forgive, to allow, in a variety of the Osaka dialect, becomes yurusare instead of yuruse when moving into the potential form, the can form. This is then combined with the broader kansai negation of hen, so nai, so this just literally means cannot forgive you, cannot allow. Now, because this is just a dialectical form, I can find uses of it going back to the 1950s via Google Books. And there are people using it since the earliest days of Twitter. But how did this become a Gyaru term? Did they all go to Osaka? Well, no. Basically, there is a Gyaru kind of themed animal show called Usapoyo, and one of the characters that's a cat and is therefore named Nekopoyo, appropriately, uses this a lot when saying that they are upset about something. Now, the popularity of this show seems kind of ambiguous to me. At the time of recording, it only has about 3,000 followers on Instagram or TikTok, less than 10 on Twitter, and one of them's me, and just a few hundred on YouTube. But it has its own line stickers, and it's been mentioned by TV Tokyo, so I guess some Gyaru are paying attention to this. Although, in the video Egg made talking about this, I should note that the 3 presenters that they brought on said that they don't use it, so who knows. Anyway, let's move on to number 9, which is poi poi naisu. This is one which is going to be hard for me to explain because I am old, but basically, apparently, when you live stream these days, especially on a Japanese live streaming app known as Mikucha, you can throw points at the person that's live streaming. I think you get points for watching, or you can pay for them or something. It's some kind of gift. Anyway, some Japanese live streamers have started, instead of just saying thank you, etc., using the phrase poi poi naisu. I think the poi comes from pointo, and, they're nice points. But basically, it's like a fun way of saying thank you that keeps the vibes going. In this example here, for instance, you can see somebody stating that they gave a lot of points to their favorite streamer because they wanted to hear that streamer say poi poi naisu. Note how the name of the Twitter poster and the name of the top point giver in the image match. Now, I can find uses of poi poi naisu to refer to streaming going back to 2019 or so. The app I mentioned actually was developed in 2013, so I think it's a bit more recent. Maybe this functionality is more recent. But there's no question that it is quite popular right now. Indeed, it's been appearing in some rather bizarre places. The most bizarre of them is that the new manager for the baseball team, the Yakult Swallows, gave the team a motivational speech, and afterwards he just ended it with poi poi naisu, which in this case, they weren't giving him points, they were just listening, and it's kind of like saying it's just like a thank you now. But this made national news. There's a number of articles on it, and those articles do refer to it as a Gyaru term. And recently, an idol named Yua made it through some kind of contest. I'm not familiar with the context here, but when she was announced as the winner, you can hear somebody screaming poi poi naisu at her. Which I guess means congratulations, or perhaps, thank you for being so amazing. I wasn't there, but it is quite amusing. And it's broken into even more mainstream, coming up on Japanese quiz shows. This is an image from one where they ask people to guess what it means, and this person means when you give someone a gift but that you don't need it, so the poi in his mind comes from poiste, or to throw away, which is cute. But the fact that it's on mainstream TV, of course, is quite interesting. Number 8 then is homani, and this is kind of a weird one. I've actually talked about the origin of this because it comes from a guy named Kemio, who's very, very famous, a big influencer, and he is a big language influencer. And a while back, he said homani, so a dialect-inflected version of hontoni, and somebody commented that it sounds like home money, and now he just says home money, and that became popular. That was actually a term that was popular with young women in Gyaru a few years ago. And then the Gyaru have shortened this from home money to homani. And it seems like you could have skipped that and just gone, homani to homani, but that's the journey, and that's where we are, and that's number 8. Number 7 is rei to takai, and this is actually like an intersection of nerd world and Gyaru world, which we're going to see a bit more of that than you'd expect. I guess they're a good combination. This term originally came from the world of like trading card games, etc., where it was actually kind of reversed. You see terms like koreito being used to refer to very, very rare cards, ones that are valuable, as you can see the post here. So rei to takai means that something is rare, valuable, special, etc. And sometimes more explicitly that if you want it, if you want to trade for it, you're going to have to offer a lot of, lower rate things. So why are Gyaru using this? Have they suddenly got into card games? Well, no, they've gotten into stickers. If you're not familiar, there's actually a massive sticker boom happening in Japan, especially among like elementary school students, etc. There are these things called shirucho, or like sticker books, and they have like clear sheets and you can put your stickers to them. In particular, a type of sticker known as droppu shiru, or drop stickers, which are like inflated. They have a bit of like air in them, and so you can push on them and stuff like that. Some have like liquid or like things that move around. They're actually kind of cool, are extremely popular and just sold out in all these kinds of stores. It's making all kinds of news. And Gyaru have decided that they also want to join in this sticker fandom. Indeed, normally the sticker books are quite small, but in the video Egg made to talk about their words of the year, one of the Gyaru pulls out their sticker book and it's massive. So if a Gyaru has a sticker that is very good, very rare, worth a lot to them, they would call that rei to takai. So that's why they're adopting this term. They've adopted the hobby. And again, this term is not restricted to Gyaru. People are still using it in 2025 to refer to card games, etc. But if you go onto Twitter and type in rei to takai, you will see tons of sticker examples. So the sticker fandom is very much using this right now. And again, that sticker fandom includes Gyaru. Although I should just end by noting that this term has been around at least since 2010. Number 6 is kaiji dana. This is a more recent term, and this comes directly from a specific person. This was said by the YouTuber Hikakin. If you're not familiar, Hikakin is a massive entity on the Japanese internet. At the time of this video, they have over 20 million subscribers on YouTube across their 2 channels. I'll get there. I'm getting close. And they've also been a massive influence on Japanese netspeak. There's a whole thing called the Hikakin Goroku, or like the Analects of Hikakin, with all the phrases he said that have gone viral. I've covered some in videos. But he also live streams, and more recently, he was doing a live stream when there was a McDonald's order delivered to his apartment. He thought his wife ordered it, but then found out that it wasn't that, which caused him confusion. And when he realized it might have been kind of a prank, he then used this phrase to his stream.
Oh my god! なんだ? はい。はい、どうも。マックデリバリー？あれだな、多分、つまきんさんが頼んでるわ。質問コーナー100。おい！ちょっと待って。100個以上。頼んでねえ。もう寝てるよ。わ。おい。おい。これ開示だな。震えてね、俺や。
Now, what's going on here is that kaiji is like a release of information. It's used in phrases like this, like a formal release of information. So what he's saying here in the video is like, I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to put in an information request to get your details and figure out who did this. Obviously, it's a joke. He doesn't know if the person's watching the stream or whatever, but that's his threat. And he goes on to say, like, sleep in fear. Now, Hikakin's not the first person to attach kaiji to the particle da and na. Here's someone doing it in 2010, but that person doesn't have 20 million plus followers. And Hikakin kept using this more and more and more. Basically, at any time anything frustrated him at all, if he lost in a video game, if he died, if somebody said something he thought was a lie, whatever happened, he's like, I'm going to request information. Think of it as being like, oh man, I'm going to call my lawyers about this one. It's just like an exaggerated legalese threat that's kind of funny in this context. And so as a result, kaiji dana has become a thing that people are saying on the internet, and some of those people are Gyaru. But it's not just Gyaru. Like, this person is using it because they're mad at Grok for erasing the wrong character when they said erase this weak one. Here's a person who uses it when they lose 1 point on a rhythm game. Like, I'm going to get an information request on why I lost. Threatening legal action against the game, I guess. Or here to complain about the actual spread of the colored pencils that doesn't match what's on the box. Basically, if anything frustrates you in any way, kaiji dana is a way of saying, jokingly, that you're going to have a formal request for information on whoever allowed this to happen. Number 5 is warui kocha, which is from a song. There's a rapper named Ify, who you can see here, and they had a song released in 2025 called Waruiko in all katakana, and they say it in the song. Warui And Gyaru liked the song, I guess, so they've started using this term to kind of playfully say, oh, you're so bad. Apparently, the model Imai Angelica, who's associated with nuts, which is another kind of Gyaru thing, really likes to use it. This is important because Imai has actually been a linguistically influential Gyaru in the past. In particular, in 2004, she basically single-handedly popularized the phrase "Soregacha homa gomen ya de," which is like, is that true? I'm so sorry. This especially exploded when she introduced it to Kikuchi Fuma of the band Sexy Zone, who introduced it to kind of the world when he brought her and the phrase onto a TV show he was part of. Soregacha homa gomen ya de. Kikuchi then became like an advocate for the phrase, introducing it to his idol friends such as Ninomiya Kazunari of Arashi and using it on his YouTube channel, etc. And it got so big that it eventually even spread to K-pop fandom and K-pop idols. At the time I'm recording this, I can't find an example, but if I do, I will put it here and you can say good job in the comments, and if not, sorry. Gesamo wariko-cha. Number 4 is Ryotei ni otoko desu. I talked about this in this video. There's a Japanese dating show, and one of the people that went on it is this girl named Hina. She was really, really popular, and a lot of the things she said went popular. She was on a boat, and they were going to take a picture, and she put her hands out like this so that the two guys next to her would be floating above her hands, like their heads, and just said this phrase, you know, there are boys in both hands. And as a result, it's kind of spread into a thing that people say online, either when they're imitating the pose or just holding stuff. It's kind of fun. And there you go. Number 3 is satsuowa, and this is a shortening of satsue owarimasu, or photography, filming, etc. is done. Now, this term dates back to 2014 at least, but it was mainly used initially within the world of photographers, models, actors, etc. But here's the thing, a lot of Gyaru are models. They started to learn this term and they started to use it, and I guess in 2025 they finally started using it enough that it's now like a word that they really like to use. Number 2 is then shinu or bakushi. This is also like Gyaru plus otaku, oh, it blends so well kind of thing. Basically, shinu, which of course means to die, bakushi is like explosive death, has been used in otaku spaces for decades at least. In some cases, just to mean that you're laughing, but also just to note like a very strong emotion. Something shinu is like, well, it's like in English, like chat, I'm dead. Oh, chat, this is so embarrassing, I'm dead. Oh, chat, this is so fun, I'm dead. It's the same kind of vibe, honestly. And it's been around for a while, but in 2025, Gyaru have started using it, so there you go. I honestly am kind of surprised they chose it as a Gyaru word. Like, Egg's description of this literally calls it a gal-specific exaggeration reaction, and that's just false. But, you know, they're allowed to use it, and they're allowed to enjoy it, and they are. And then finally, number 1, we have oira ga iku shika ne na, or should I say, oira ga iku shika ne na. This literally means I have to go, but it comes from a musical. There's a Japanese comedian called Nakatani who is part of the comedy duo Mayurika, where he serves as the straight man, and he decided to do like a musical by himself, kind of. And this is the name of one of the songs, which starts with this phrase, and then goes on to say, which means I have to go no matter where it is. Even if I complain, I've got to go. This has become like a net meme in a way, and then a lot of people take this video and delete the background and put it over something else or give some kind of text to it. In the compilation you're looking at now, the labels are when the person I like invites me to the cultural festival. So the joke is that you don't want to go, but you have to go because your crush will be there. When you have school on 2 days, but your Oshi's live tickets go on sale, so you just gotta go and buy them. You haven't done your homework yet, but your friend invites you to hang out. And the bottom right one is actually a bit of a joke saying how the seasons are passing in Japan, and they sped it up really, really fast when it's not winter or summer, which relates to Nikki, right? 2 seasons being one of the top 30 official buzz terms of the year, with people just joking that Japan only really has 2 functional seasons anymore. This particularly exploded when someone made a techno remix of it, and that went really, really viral on TikTok, and that's really when Gyaru got into it. Because Gyaru really liked TikTok. There's a lot of videos of people kind of poorly mouthing the lyrics while doing a half-assed dance. And I've shown enough videos of that like on TikTok, so let's look at this seal instead because it's better. But one group of people who are doing dances to this song with a bit more effort is, unsurprisingly, Gyaru, and they've made their own videos on Egg's official channels. So they're having a lot of fun with this lyric, as the rest of the internet is, and that's why they chose it as number 1. So there you go, those are the 10 words that Gyaru chose. They didn't come up with any of these themselves per se this year, and some of them are not new, but at the very least I think we can all say that this was a list of 10 words. And so it's nice to see somebody clear that bar. Thank you, Gyaru, for continuing to innovate linguistically throughout Japan. Don't let anyone stop you from being the wonderful little language magpies that you are, borrowing terms here or there and reforming them into something that brings your community joy. I really look forward to your list in 2026, unless you don't put one out or it's really bad, in which case